Yo, we back at it again. Another edition of Crosstalk here downtown Dallas, live from the 10th floor of Hello Studios. You know Crosstalk is where we got all the different content creators in the sports world and all things Dallas Cowboys. We come together, discuss a bunch of things about these beloved Cowboys we have. Who we got on the roster today?
Yeah.
Starting with me. Apparently, Ray secretly hates me because he started this while I was eating a cracker. But
see, they didn't even know that. You didn't even know cracker. You just exposed yourself. Well, that's on you.
I'm sitting here chewing. Anyway, hi, I'm Jazz Money with the BLS podcast. How are you?
The Deck Attack Show. Of course, it's the same name, the Deck Attack Show.
Yeah. Hey, that's good. Law Nation Sports. Put the sports at the end like a car. Sports car. Let's go.
All right, before we dive into these topics, we got to start off with some positive words. We got election season coming up. We all may have difference in opinions. We can all still love each other, all right?
God bless America.
God bless America.
Let's go, Kanye.
All right, so.
Nah, real talk.
Go ahead,
bro. Don't even get to that, bro. Go ahead.
So we do like special words on the regular Aries podcast, and I want to do some special words. A little shorter edition here on Crosstalk. Start everything and everyone's mind off right. Renew your mind if you need to get renewed before we get into some of these topics, all right? In case someone told you today, you are beautiful. I am proud of you. We are proud of you. Your feelings matter. You will succeed. Bet. All right, let's talk about succeeding. About roster cuts are coming. But before we get to roster cuts, let's talk about this last game we just had against the Las Vegas Raiders. I almost said Oakland for a second because, that's how I'm old like that. They were in Oakland back in the day, all right? Las Vegas Raiders, the Cowboys got the win.
A lot of interesting stuff in that game.
That was a fun game.
It was butter.
Interesting stuff.
I say it was butter. I like to say it was butter. That game was very butter, if you know what I mean.
Aubrey was.
Yes, butter. So let's get into it. What were some of the highlights y'all thought from the game? Your takeaways?
The deuce is loose. The
100%.
deuce is loose. Hey man, look, I was not a big proponent of Deuce Vaughn. I didn't understand the hype. I thought he had his deficiencies just size wise. I thought his deficiencies size wise was just going to be an impediment to his ability to get on the field, to get a fair chance. Not necessarily an impediment to his skill level or anything like that, but just to get on the field and for a coaching staff to understand how to use him. There's a reason there's only been a couple of guys in NFL history, the Darren Sproles of the world.
What did you think of him after last preseason? You thought it was a fluke?
That's a good question. I wasn't ready to come around yet. Because I feel like we've seen Kenny Pickett have a perfect quarterback rating in the preseason, and
right.
It's very dangerous to fall in love with a player during preseason play, right?
You're not wrong.
And Deuce Vaughn, I guess the reason I'm coming around on him now is because now this is an established track record. Now it's showing when given the opportunity, when given some room, he can actually make something happen, and when used as a true running back, not as a gadget guy, not as somebody you gotta, pull a crazy play out the hat for to get him out on the outside. No, you can use him as a true running back as long as you have an offensive line that's giving him room in the middle.
Here's all about I'll give you a pass on Deuce, right? So last preseason, he did have some impressive runs in terms of yardage and just how they looked on film. Like it's good to see somebody with that much agility who's just getting around blockers and making a miss, right? But he wasn't that great whenever the space started to close in.
Correct.
I felt like he needed to improve on okay, what are you going to do when you don't have that much room to make these big strides?
But see, that's the exact reason why I'm coming around on him now. It's because now the middle of that line is fortified. And now he has room to be the type of player he can be in the NFL.
Not only that, but he's actually worked on those deficiencies. He's gotten better at getting skinny, so he's added that to his toolbox. He's admitted that he values the 4 and 5 yard runs. So now it's not like, okay, if he doesn't see 10 yards in front of him, he hesitates. He's like, no, if I get 4 yards as a running back in the NFL, that's good. So I'm appreciative that he values back that, and he's also talked about the fact that he wants to get better at running in between the tackles. So that's something that he's working on that I think people probably subconsciously noticed. It was a weakness for the Cowboys run game last season, and he's working on that. and he said that he wants to get better at pass protection. So
I don't know. It's only so much you're gonna be able to do with that one.
But he still can get his weight.
He can get his chip in here and there, but I mean,
he's been working on getting bigger and stronger. So I don't blame anybody.
It was definitely a play on film where he had an opportunity to help out on the chip, and that man completely whiffed. But all credit to him, he got back up immediately, got back into the play, and made sure the guy didn't get hands on Trey Lance when he was running out of bounds.
I think Zeke said that like pass blocking is part mental, so he's got that part.
Yeah, coaches says all the time, just get in the way if possible. I would say this, shout out to Jay Hicks. He's been working with all of the running backs in the Dallas area, and I think that, if you look back at what Deuce Vaughn been really improved on is balance. His dexterity had always been there, but his control and his foot placement and his foot count when he's inside his run and his plant foot and then he explode to the outside. I think that his lower body, I guess, they improved that so that he can keep his balance together. So when you look at him, he had some dirty yards that he was able to scrape up and get.
There were some holes he squeezed in and nobody else would have been able to squeeze into. Like when you watching, I'm serious. When you were watching the film with the Las Vegas Raiders, there was one play that stood out to me where it was like a hole like this big, and he just kind of just needled himself in there to get a couple of extra yards, and it turned a 2-yard gain into a 5-yard gain.
And that's what she was talking about, the ability to get skinny, right? Squeeze inside that hole there and get extra yards. So shout out to Tiny Deuce Vaughn. He did his job in that.
Okay. A couple more points from this game I want to highlight, then we're going to get on to the next subject here. We know who our starting center is. I think that's
it's got to be Cooper B.
Come on, Cooper B.
We know who he is.
It's got to be the BB boy.
I think we were just waiting for him to get that shotgun snap down. I think he's got it pretty well intact
Cooper
now.
maybe went out there like he heard everybody talking about Brock Hoffman. He was like, I'm like how Kendrick said that he was going to take all of Drake's fans. He was like, I'm about to take all of Brock Hoffman's
Him and
fans.
Guyton both. They both putting foots in people. They both putting foots in. And Guyton is so excited to put foots in people that sometimes he get a little bit too aggressive. But just overall, this one thing I gotta give the whole entire organization credit for, just overall they have changed the mentality.
Yes,
of the makeup of this team. And that's just what it is. You look on the defensive side of the ball with Zimmer, his fingerprints are already all over this thing. And then just the players that are coming back and the guys that were brought in, Carl Lawson, the Phillips. I love what he said in the interview the other day. We'll get to that in a second. But just the makeup of this team, the mentality. I love everything that I'm hearing and seeing. It's not all the empty talk and stuff. It's like they talking football stuff and they talking and they being realistic. They're being real and the attitude is showing on the field.
Can I give you guys my unsung hero just for the offensive line on how they improve? 2 guys that I want to point out. One being Awesome Richards. I didn't see him playing inside as guard. But, man, this guy is nasty with it, and he's improved so much. I think Big Nate Newton said he's the best offensive lineman out there. Now, I don't know if that's tongue-in-cheek, but,
I disagree,
that's just how that goes. He's improved.
Yes.
And that's an unsung hero for me. And the other guy, I hate to say this out loud, but I'm going to give him a little flowers. The other guy who improved from one year to the next.
I know who I'm talking about. I know you about to say.
Matt. Well, let's go. Come on. You thought I was going to say You thought I was going to say somebody else. But I like Matt Waletzko improving because this is night and day from his rookie year, second year. And now this is his 3rd season right here now, right? Third season?
Yeah.
We could do a fact check, but we'll go with that for right now.
And he improved, and especially he's owning the right side of the field. So just in case if Terrence still have a hiccup and he had to be out for a few games, I'm seeing Matt Waletzko being able to just stand in there.
Question for you. We just talked about Awesome Richards. Could you see him being kind of a jack of all trades, being able to fill in at guard if he needs to, and also be able to kick outside if he needs to?
No.
To help it. God, I can't even finish fucking talking.
No.
Good Lord, Jesus.
No. She says no. Take the trash out, Ray. Take the trash out, Ray.
Oh, my God. Who's shitting your cornflakes? This is what I'm talking about.
Nobody.
I'm joking.
But he wasn't that great at tackle. But I think it's because like his
well, we're not looking for great. Just someone you need to fill in a pinch. Like, okay, if we have to have him fill in.
I think he has position flex.
Yes.
I think he's established himself to where he's not worse than Chuma was at tackle last year.
He has position flex in the sense that he's done both before, but it's not something that I would look to him as like that's a characteristic of his. He can play both positions. It's really more of like a break glass in case of emergency situation. If you absolutely need a tackle in there and nobody else awesome can probably do a well enough job to finish the game. But like the weaknesses that he had at tackle, a lot of those are eliminated when he goes to guard, which is probably why he likes playing guard more, which is probably why a lot of people like him at guard more. But when he was at tackle, like he was upright way too much. It was so easy for defenders to get him like literally turned around. There were so many times that I saw Austin Richards literally spin around. He was forward on his toes. He just didn't have a good anchor, and it just felt like because he was in open space, there were just too many options for him. And now that he's a guard, it's like
he got help on right and left. So
he's got help. Options are limited, and he's able to focus on what he does best and on what his task is on that particular play, and he's doing great at that. And I'm
gonna tell you saying the guard thing. Did Awesome play some guard against the Rams, right, in that preseason game? They had him playing some guard.
Yeah.
He needs to work on like how he handles stunts, though.
Strength and knee bend.
And just be able to identify what's happening in front of him, because to kind of go with what you're saying, he's still going to see stunts. He's still going to see guys flashing in front of his face to where he has to identify who he actually needs to get hands on to satisfy. You know what I'm saying? So he still has some deficiencies to where you're not looking for Austin Richards to be good or great at either position, to be honest. He's a backup. He's someone that's there for depth.
I just think he's more solid at guard.
And I'm going to put it like this. If you're in a position where you're playing Austin Richards right now at this phase of his career, any length of time more than just as a spot fill, then you're in trouble anyway.
Yeah.
You're in trouble anyway.
Yeah. To that degree, you know, this is his second season in that spot.
Yeah.
And one of the things that coming out of Carolina, he wasn't as strong and as flexible as we wanted to, but we had him positioned as tackle, right? Because of his lack of strength and some other things that we can look back at it on tape. But hey, I think the way that they're gonna pretty much play him now is just left side. Yeah, he's a left side player.
He's a left side player. What part of the left side? On the left side,
you're gonna be a left side guy. You know?
But also, we have to remember this is just year 2 for him.
True.
That he can be developed. He can be coached up. So we don't know what the future holds.
He's an asset. I believe he's an asset. And he's a guy that's shown the ability to be able to get better, and that's what you're looking for. To me, that's all you can ask for at the end of the day from these guys.
Hey man.
Fact check complete on Matt. Well, let's go. Yes, it is his third season.
Third time the charm.
Okay, last little thing about this last preseason game. What improvements did y'all see from Trey Lance from game 1 to game 2?
Oh man, the confidence. He looks so much more comfortable. Like even when he was running or scrambling, it looked like it was a little bit more intentional. It didn't look as chaotic or like he was running out of fear. It looked like he was actually making the decision to run. Right. It felt like he was doing a lot better on his reads. It seemed like they emphasized the run game a lot more in the game against the Raiders.
I think they simplified things for him.
Yeah. We're not going to give you 4 to 3 reads. We're going to give you 1.
The reads, that's not a product of Trey getting better. See, we got to be careful with our evaluations, because some of these things are a product of, okay, we see that he kind of struggles doing this. We're going to call this a little bit differently. Like when we see Dak call that game next week, Dak is going to understand what Trey Lance is comfortable with. And we're going to see Trey Lance look probably the best he's looked all preseason. And that's because Dak is going to be calling stuff that Trey is comfortable doing. He's going to simplify things, keep it. It's like he said, instead of 4 reads, or instead of having to read the whole field, you're going to have to read this side. If it ain't there, get the heck up out of there. Just period.
That's fair.
And then, or if you late, get up out of there. If you know, I'm late on this read, get up out of there. Because he's still, to me, Trey, the game hasn't slowed down for him yet. And just from a technical standpoint and just understanding how to play the quarterback position, the nuance, I was still seeing him throwing 120-mile-per-hour balls on 5-yard slants and stuff like that.
Where he had a little bit better touch, though.
Yeah, he had better touch this game.
If you're in the NFL, you're gonna have to make a couple of those throws, but you have to make it consistently. That's what makes someone that's prepared to be a starting quarterback.
But he has improved a little bit. He has improved.
I'm not saying he hasn't.
Case in point.
But I'm not ready to sit here and act like that Trey Lance answered questions, because he didn't. And Jerry echoed that sentiment. He didn't.
I would say this.
Here's the question I think he answered. I think he answered the question of, could he go in and substitute for Dak Prescott in the game, because the year that Dak got injured and Cooper Rush had those 5 undefeated those 5 wins game, the 5 wins in a row. 4-1. Or was it 4-1 or was it 5-1?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Y'all know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
But they had to change up the way those games were called a little bit to cater to what Cooper Rush was good at. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with the Raiders game, they did the same thing in that instance for Trey Lance.
Correct.
And so what that says to me is that, okay, if they're willing to make those adjustments, he can go in and he can get the job done. Whereas before, I wasn't confident that there was any scenario in which he could get the job done. And now I'm like, okay, yeah, he could.
I don't know. You playing against 2s, 3s, and 4s, and he didn't.
No, he played against some 1s too.
Right, but the offense didn't actually start moving the ball until dudes like Max Crosby and the actual playmakers on the defense came off the field for the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be realistic, man. You cannot. To me, it's hard to say a guy is shown that he's capable of doing anything in the preseason. What you're looking at is understanding. What you're looking at is he playing with proper technique? Is he playing with the proper? Is he in the right position? And does he keep filling his gaps if he on defense? He be playing linebacker. Are you filling the gaps the proper way? Are you holding your blocks if you're the defensive tackle or whatever? You're not looking for confirmation on what a guy is as a quarterback and if he's capable of winning games for you, because you can't really judge that off of playing against guys as 2s, 3s, 4s as far as winning games. See, to me, preseason, I don't look at the outcome of game in preseason. I really don't. Wins, losses, I don't care. I don't look at that at all. I look at how things happen, how it looks, what they have to do to make it happen, and the stuff that Trey Lance was doing and the stuff that he's comfortable doing isn't anything that's sustainable. That's just not sustainable. It's too easy to game plan.
Well, no, we don't need him to sustain anything.
Yeah. But my only take is with Trey is that week 1 of the preseason.
And I'm just tired of talking about Thursday quarterback too. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm serious, bro.
What you said.
We've oversaturated the coverage on this dude because
we did.
In no way, like let's be realistic. In no way is Trey Lance really a part of this team's future. Even next season, they didn't secure his option or anything. There's no plan in place or any talks in place about them trying to sign him to an extension or anything. Trey Lance is not under contract. We have to quit making this bigger than what it is. He's not under contract, and more than likely, the Cowboys will honestly be better with his development and the stage that he's in. I hope that he becomes a starting quarterback. I hope he has a good career. The timing is wrong here, and to me, he's not relevant to the plans of Dallas.
Here's my only thing is, two points. Week 1, he had a fade ball versus the Rams, and he had too much touch on it, right? Too much power on it. Week 2, we saw him had a little bit better touch on it, and Ryan Flanor made a better adjustment.
But Ryan Flanor, that was a routine throw though, Law. You got Ryan Flanor created so much space on that to where it was like all you got to do is throw it to a spot. You just throwing it to the back pylon at that point.
Right.
So,
no, I'm saying
but let's be real. Week 1, we wouldn't have thought he'd be able to do that.
I mean, I gave Trey more credit than that. I guess that's why I'm not giving him credit for that growth, is because we've seen him make those type of throws.
Cropper won on that route, but Trey tried to throw it he tried to throw it back to Dallas. He tried to throw that ball back to Dallas. But the other thing is about Trey is that I think he was better than the Raiders quarterbacks, wasn't he?
That's not saying a lot.
We're not.
I'm just saying.
That's not saying a lot.
That's value. That's tradable value. Come on, Jerry. I'm just saying, and that's just where I'm going. Is that if we don't have no foreseeable future because we putting a lot of energy on our third and second string quarterback, when I just saw the 49ers the other day, they scooped up Joshua Dobbs, and Dobbs was looking good. They didn't spend no 4th round draft pick for him. They ain't paying $5.5 million nor $2.5 million for Josh Dobbs. So what I'm saying is the Cowboys,
Josh
like
Dobbs
you said,
seems to look good with every team he gets to at first, and then something happens.
That's all we need him for.
Yeah,
for the backup.
Good for every now and then.
Yeah,
just taking them out here and there. You ain't trying to date them every weekend.
Yeah. But
look, I'm gonna say this. I agree with you that there's a lot of energy being put on Trey Lance, but that's because of, 1, how he was drafted, 2, how he ended up.
But we didn't draft him like that. You know, the Cowboys, they're not the ones, and they wouldn't have done that.
Put a big spotlight on him.
What the Cowboys have done the same thing the 49ers did to get Trey Lance.
Nah,
no.
Never.
So if the Cowboys as an organization wouldn't have put that kind of priority on Trey Lance, then we have to move away from that. We have to stop holding him to his draft position because he's shown at this point.
Thing. We're not holding him to his draft
okay, we're gonna move on here from Trey Lance. We're really gonna move on. One last question here. When we're done with Trey Lance, all right. This is just a question out of curiosity. Since the Cowboys traded for Trey Lance,
right?
If he signs somewhere else after the offseason, do we still get a comp pick for him? Does anyone know that answer?
No, I don't know the answer off the top of my head.
Someone, if they're watching this video, put that in the comments. Let us know about that because I'm curious about that.
If you lose him to free agency, but he don't have a contract for, I think
we still get a
account for something.
Okay, so maybe we'll get something in return for that.
Trade him. Either him or Cooper Rush, but I'm just saying, like, a decision needs to be made because it's ridiculous to keep doing this thing to where you got this guy just hanging around. He's an asset, losing value, gaining value, losing value, gaining value. You're not doing anything with him, bro.
They're expecting him to develop. That's what they're doing.
For what? Can we not? Come on, let's 1 second. For what though? You know what I'm saying? Like,
to be a legitimate
if Dak resigns here, Trey Lance would not see the field at minimum in the next 3 to 4 seasons. He will be 28, 29 years old. Or why are you resetting your franchise with a 28, 29-year-old? Even if he's seasoned and been marinating on the bench, you would be better off just drafting a fresh young face and just moving on with yourself this next offseason.
Mr. Jones did not exactly give us a good reason why he made that trade in the first place. So anything that we say in response to that is pretty much a guess.
Okay.
But it did seem like they brought him over here expecting him to develop a little bit better than how he was developing with the 49ers. So the only thing that I can think is that they were looking for who's going to be next after Cooper Rush, because next year is the last year of Cooper Rush's contract, or they were hoping that they could develop him and trade him for something.
I think he was a contract player. I say it all the time.
It was leverage, man.
Yeah, it was operational.
That don't even make sense.
Come on, man.
Let's
keep it what it is.
All right. We've had enough time for Trey Lance.
Reclaiming my time.
We've got a lot of things we got to cover today. That's the last time I'm talking about Trey Lance today. Are we all in agreement with this?
Trigger Trey.
Okay. All right. Let's move this some bitch on now. All right. Let's keep it rolling. All right. Okay. Last week, Crosstalk, we had our guy Ben Larimore from PFF and USA Today and Cowboys Wire, and we were talking about grades last year. For the first preseason game, we pulled up the PFF grades. I've got the PFF grades for this past preseason game against the Raiders, and we're gonna run through these real quick and just give us your thoughts, all right? They broke it down for defense and offense, okay? So your top 5 offensive players per PFF at a 90.3, Racey McMath, okay? Cole Cabral, the tackle they just signed recently, he has a 90 grade for this last game, okay? Alec Kohler, 85.5. Or I'm sorry, Alec Kohler, whatever you pronounce it. Sorry, we got to say his name again. Trey Lance had an 82.9. Then Tyler Guyton, they gave a 71.9.
Oh, Sway.
I feel like they do their grades in a vacuum, and that's why I can't, especially these preseason grades. I don't know what's going on with this thing, man. But this mug keeps dropping down. But especially the preseason grades, I feel like PFF, because there's no way you're looking at that. Cole Cabral and those dudes, they're not playing against. There has to be some scale. What is the formula?
Yeah,
I guess it's hard for you to comment on the grades.
I think they base it on a lot of technical aspects of how things would look if a person executed a position perfectly. So, for example, Tyler Guyton, I really liked what I saw from Tyler Guyton, but his score doesn't surprise me because there were some things that I saw with his hand placement.
So Cole Cabral was 20 points higher than Tyler Guyton?
I wasn't watching I have a full-time job. I ain't watch everybody. But speaking on Tyler Guyton, there were some things with his hand placement and with his punch that needed work. So even though what he was doing was effective, was it correct based on what you would like to see from a left tackle? Technically, no. And we saw him adjust mid-game, right? We did see him adjust, but there are some things there that I could see a person taking issue with and being like, yeah, this execution is not great. And so I think that's how they do their grades. They look at a player and they look at how they're executing, and it's less about effectiveness or what they actually did, and a lot of it has to do with how they did it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish Ben was here to answer, but that's my understanding.
No. Well, their grade is independent upon what they supposed to do, right? So if they climb to the second level, they give points for that. Yeah. So how Ben broke it down to me is that basically they have an individual that if their job is to just look at all of the offensive linemen, that's all they do. Then they got another scout that's all that they do is look at the DB. So everybody got their own position groups within the confines of the PFF score. So they literally they chart every single play. And just because if Tyler Guyton went up against Max Crosby and whatever the other guy,
Cole Cabral went up against Joe Buck. That's a six-stringer that's going to be bagging groceries at Kroger next week.
Yeah.
Like, so
the grades are kind of like obscure.
Why they gotta go to Kroger?
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Any grocery store here, all this Kroger's, Tom Thumb, Publix, it don't matter.
Yeah. So
not a sponsor.
So I this is what I always say. Yeah. I disregard the grades. I love talking about the grades in forms of content, but I say, hey, prove it with the film. Yeah. Let's look at the tape. Let's see what absolutely happened in that particular thing, because in the words of my guy Scott Walker, still context matter, right?
Yes.
So you got to provide the context to it.
Okay. So those are the defense side of the ball. 90.3 was scored by Kamon Hall. Okay. Darius Harris, 87.2. Wanye, 83.2. Izzy McQuame, 81.6. Then last, Eric Scott Jr. with a 75.9. Also, I want to note, too, something they said I saw the other day. They said,
what was Andrew Booth?
I don't know. This is just top 5 that they had on there. But
because he got a lot of action that game. It would have been good to know his grade. He had a lot of action.
A lot of action. Yeah. One of the things I've noticed is both of our rookies, Nealon and Guyton, are both ranked fairly well amongst their other rookies in preseason so far. Mm-hmm. So I think the Cowboys may have finally hit on another second round pick. You know, we've talked.
Yeah, Nealon's an NFL player, bro.
Yeah, he's an
NFL player.
Absolutely.
You know, we don't have the best luck in the last 24 years with second round picks. I think we may finally got another one again.
Yeah.
All right,
he's a baller, bro.
He's a baller. Okay, cool. Let's get to this. All right. So the main topic for this show is 53-man projector.
Right.
Next Tuesday, the 27th, 3 p.m.
Here we go.
3 p.m. is when you have to view down a 53-man roster. All right. So I know some people probably have already started their projections of who they think are going to make it, not make it. Mm-hmm. We've collectively made our own individual list. We're going to compare and contrast our list to see who's going to make the 53-man, all right? Mm-hmm. Started off with quarterbacks. I think we all unanimously think
all three
are going to make it.
All three going to make it.
All three are going to make it, okay?
No discussion needed. Don't matter what order they in. Trey probably going. Hey, man, look. If Trey can't win that backup quarterback, let's get a trade in, bro. That's it.
But he's going to make it because you have to have that emergency quarterback that doesn't count against a game day roster spot. Yeah. You're going to have 3. But I think there will be a practice squad quarterback added at some point, too, in my personal opinion. That's just my personal opinion.
Hensey, come on.
Mike Hensey.
Okay. All right, running backs. All right.
This is where it get kind of interesting.
Here we go.
This is where it get kind of interesting.
We all got different opinions on running backs, all right?
Okay.
So I'm Law said he has Zeke, Rico, Royce Freeman, Hunter Lipke. When he has Royce Freeman as his bubble guy.
He's got 4?
Yeah, I got 4 backs, and I got Royce being the swing guy between him and Deuce. I get it. Deuce had a hell of a game. I like what he brings to the table, but I really believe that they politically put Zeke into the spot to be the number 1 back, and then Rico, he haven't did anything to take away that spot, right? Rico,
I think those 2 guys are solidified in what they're going to be.
Yeah, the difference maker will be, would you rather have Royce Freeman, a guy that can block, a guy that can run in between the splits, he can catch the ball on the backside and get upfield. He's a seasoned veteran. Yeah. Or would you rather go with Deuce Vaughn? That's the deciding factor.
See, I was thinking since they've been practicing him in some receiver roles as well, that they might try to keep Deuce, and that Hunter Lipke might be like a 4th tight end type situation.
And I feel like Deuce is going to be, like, if you look at that running back room right now, to me, Deuce is the most likely home run hitter. I think out of all the running backs you have, he's the most likely person to break a long run.
Facts.
And I think that that explosive ability is what gets him a roster spot.
Yeah.
And I think the more positive tape he puts on film, especially this last game, to me is pivotal for Deuce.
Oh, yeah.
This last game is
very
pivotal.
Can you
for
back
him.
it up? Yeah.
Can you do it again?
Right.
And what does it look like? You know what I'm saying? What were the conditions you did it under?
And because that's one of those guys, if you do like, okay, I have to cut him, he's not clearing waivers.
No, he's not. And because the plays that the long runs that he had against the Raiders were runs that he created. Mm-hmm. Like, like initially the initial blocks were good, but he cut back. He cut back to the right and then made a guy miss in space and then was able to get skinny a little bit, get himself a couple more yards. Facts. He created a lot of those runs. Like the offensive line, point of contact, cool. But as far as like just being gaping holes where he's just running through, and this is like any running back that you place back there would have done that. No, it came a lot of it was vision and feel.
But let me ask you this though: I was out there in Oxnard, and I haven't seen a lot of Deuce,
right?
Because of the fact because his hamstring and everything, and the things that we are seeing now. I'm quite sure Nate Pete can do the same thing behind that starting offensive line or behind a better offensive line. But he's not given the opportunity because they probably going to try to play the, hey, I'm going to get you on the practice squad guy, you know. So they play those type of games. Do you guys feel like Nate Pete could have probably did something similar to what Deuce Vaughn did?
I haven't seen enough of him.
I haven't seen enough
to say that, to be honest.
So when I say it, it goes upon deaf
and that's why I think some more politics come into play, though, man. You know what I'm saying? You brought up the politics with Zeke.
It's the draft.
Deuce not only is producing a little bit, but he was a draft pick, and he. Come on, man, the nepotism factor. You know what I'm saying?
Those 15,
like, we gotta be real, bro. Like
jerseys, man.
You know, right?
I mean,
so
I think
it's some
even
politics
without nepotism, just the fact that so much of the fan base loves him,
right?
Like, there's
and are you selling jerseys?
There's a certain level of politics that comes into every decision.
It's a business.
Okay,
yes.
It's a business.
So Dak attack. Here's 4 running backs he has with Zeke, Rico, Royce, and Deuce. Okay, here's my list, of running backs. Zeke, Rico, Royce, Hunter Lipke. But I'm counting Hunter Lipke as a utility guy. I'm not really counting him as a running back.
I think I had Hunter Lipke on my list, though. I think I put him on there as like a false fullback. He don't use him as a fullback, but they kind of use him as a backfield blocker.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's kind of. But I know that Schottenheimer said he was trying to get him more involved this season, as far as just using him more.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see. I think Hunter Lipke is gonna be here, bro.
Yeah.
And I had Deuce making it, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's going to be here. I think he's going to be here. I think they're going to carry extra running back. Yeah. I think they're going to carry extra running back.
Because I'm not, like I said, I'm not counting Lipke I'm counting him as a utility. He's going to flex between fullback, a little bit maybe goal line, and tight end. Mm-hmm. Technically, that's going to be your 4th tight end, in my opinion.
Say your list again.
His is Zeke, Rico, Royce, and Deuce Freeman.
Deuce Freeman. Who is that?
Realistically, I think that's going to be the list.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the list, and they're going to move, like you said, Hunter in that tight end room, like she mentioned, because I have us going with 3 tight ends, and by you looking at the fact that Hunter brings that H-back capability of being a tight end. He can be in the backfield. He can get inside. So, I think that could be the situation there.
Yeah.
So, let's go ahead and jump to tight ends.
Deuce Freeman. That would be dope.
Deuce Freeman is funny.
Let's go ahead and go to tight ends then. Let's start with Dak attack. He has 3 tight ends.
Yeah.
Oh, just like me.
Yeah, I got 3.
Jake Ferg.
Yep.
Iceberg Ferg. School.
Okay.
John Stevens Jr. Okay. Law, you had. Hold on one second. Let me pull it back up. I got it.
Great minds.
Y'all have the same exact list.
Yeah. Okay. Great minds think alike. So
Okay.
Mine is slightly different.
Okay.
Shame.
I think Stevens Jr. has a chance to make it. He's one of my bubble players. I think they may give Hendershot one more last opportunity.
I think that's why Jerry brought up the tight end position when he was talking about it.
Yeah.
I think it's because that we're going to see a name that we weren't expecting to see.
Yeah.
It's going to be on that cut list. And I think Hendershot has not done enough to justify him just having a built-in spot on his roster.
I agree.
And John Stevens Jr., I feel like they've fallen in love with his traits.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like they fall in love with his traits and they see more from him. I think they see even more of it in the tight end 3. I think they see another alternate to a Jake Ferguson, to where if you need more of a athletic guy that can kind of just spread the field more.
He is the clone. You remember in 2016 we were all crying over this guy named Jared Cooks who caught that pass on the edge. Mm-hmm. Stevens is a clone of him, and I think that when I'm getting a chance to talk to Wells, and he love him, So I think that he got a great, strong advocate. Not saying that he don't like Hendershot or anyone,
right?
Put some cover over this.
Not for real, yeah.
But I'm 1,000% sure that Hendershot can make the practice squad. Yeah. I think somebody can circle the block, and the Cowboy can circle the block back.
I think so as well.
But Stevens can't.
No, sir.
I think the thing about Hendershot is that a couple of years ago, the Cowboys marketing did such a good job of coupling him with Ferguson that a lot of fans can't imagine
the Ferguson thing.
Yeah, a lot of fans can't imagine him not being on the team. But if we erase all the propaganda and marketing and we just think about what he's done, it's easier to see him not being on the team. Not that I wish that on anybody,
right?
But we've seen the Cowboys let go of guys who have contributed, who the fans like. We saw it with Isaiah Lynn. Isaiah Lynn was really popular last year.
Oh my God!
And there are people who I still hate the fact that they let go of Isaiah Lynn. We've seen it happen with Simi Fehoko. I mean, even if you think about when they got rid of Zeke at first, there were a lot of fans who still wanted him, and so we've seen the Cowboys have a propensity to be like, look, it's just time for you to go. So I'm inclined to believe that Hendershot won't be on the 53-man roster right now.
And we would have been perfectly fine if we never draft Schoonmaker. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
We would have been perfectly fine with a running back in that spot, like a A-chain. Oops, I'm talking too loud. Like, we would have been perfectly fine if we had drafted a running back in the second round.
I think them using that capital at that position is what's kind of mucked up that room a little bit as far as how they're prioritizing the guys. The fact they use that draft capital on Schoonmaker. Because, let's be honest, man, it's been guys that would be challenging both Schoon and Hendershot for a position if that capital had not been used.
Right.
Because that level of investment, once you invest so much, a second round pick, you gotta get your money's worth out of it. You have to. So I agree.
Well, and to be fair, Schoon is the highest paid tight end on the team, by the way. Yeah. And here's the other thing that I'm going to say, and I'm gonna let you roll with it, is that they forcing it to him when we seen that, give someone else that opportunity that you may have been an undrafted guy or may have been on the bottom end of the roster to make this team. To me personally, Princeton Fant been very good for us, but he's in that shadowy place too, because he's behind Hunter in fullback world, and then he's behind a lot of guys in the tight end room. So it's hard to find a spot for him.
Start competition in some positions, man.
Yeah. But go ahead, y'all.
Okay, let's
go ahead.
Oh.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it piggybacking off what you were saying with Princeton Fant. I think one of the things that's happening this year with several positions is that there are people who are qualified, but it just comes down to numbers and where they'll fit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to wide receivers. All right.
Ooh, man, this is hard. This one was hard.
This was really hard. I think we all unanimously have the same 6 going into it. I think we all have the same 6.
CD, obviously.
CD, Cooks,
yep,
Turpin, Tolbert, Brooks, then Flournoy because he's a draft pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my 6 as well.
Yeah.
That was my 6.
Here's the thing: if they go 5, sorry, Flournoy's out.
I don't think so. I think if they go 5,
who do you think? Brooks is out?
Ain't no way. Did you see Brooks yesterday?
Brooks was killing. I think
if they go 5, who's out?
People have kind of like
6.
They're going 6. Okay. There's no if. Yeah, they're going 6.
Then you got special teams. You got to play. You got to have wide receivers.
Yeah, you got to have wide receivers, linebackers. There's certain positions you got to have guys ready for enough guys for special teams too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's where you're getting those guys from. But yeah, the receiver room it has to be 6, bro. It has to be 6 because you got so many unproven guys after 2.
Yeah.
After 2, like. It's a toss-up. Anybody can step up, honestly, and be that 3. I know Tolbert has had a great camp. He's looked amazing. His rapport with Dak has been on point. But I'm saying just from what have you done for me standpoint, anybody can step up now and really take that role if things get rolling in the season. So 6 has to be the number.
It would have been 7 But these guys played themselves off the damn field.
Well,
Tyron Johnson played himself off the field. Cropper, he dropped it.
That fumble may have been a dire blow to Cropper's chances on this team.
Crooms got hurt, so those boys, all three of those guys played themselves.
Somebody
and
grabbed his ankle.
You're forgetting my boy. I don't think he played himself off, and I think he's a bubble guy.
Ooh.
Kevin
Harmon. He's one of those camp. It's too many guys. He's a camp body guy.
I'm afraid he wouldn't clear waivers. Honestly, I think he may not clear waivers.
Put it like this: you look at this list, bro. Who would you rather have over him?
You're not removing anybody off the team to put Kevin Harmon on there, bro.
Yeah. Like I said, there's nothing I would take away, but that's someone I would. He was able to.
There's been guys that's looked really, really had some moments, man, but just. From a standpoint of what are you, what do we know about you already, and have you proven anything? There's a lot of guys in this battle right now that haven't done that.
And the craziest thing, Kevin Harmon got here because of Ryan Flournoy banged his knee. So that's crazy. Yeah. And he's showing out, but he was brought in to be just a body. Yeah. He was brought in to be that. Yeah. So I mean, that's what he's gonna be at the end of the day, bro.
Okay, here's where it's gonna get a little tricky here.
What do you have any thoughts on the wide receiver room? Because you ain't.
Nah, I'm going along with what y'all are saying. Like y'all are reading my mind right now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a difficult spot to be in.
Yeah,
I'm glad I don't have to make that decision.
Not for real, because there's some guys that's really, to me, I feel like there's some guys that have earned themselves jobs, whether it be with the Cowboys
or someplace else.
Someplace else. There's been some guys that's earned some jobs.
Let's get a little gritty with it though. What kind of roster gymnastics you have to do to finagle the roster if CeeDee Lamb holds out, and who's going to be? Maybe you can have Kevin Harmon that way, huh?
I think that there would be another guy in a different position that you would keep in that position instead, bro.
So okay, I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, because I think that there's some guys that are playing even better than what those receivers are on the bubble in different positions. So I think that the receiver room, they just kind of SOL.
Yeah,
I think they kind of SOL, bro.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. All right. It kind of gets sticky right here. Offensive lineman. I mean, we've all had different opinions when it comes to.
Well, we all agree on the starting five.
Oh yeah,
or the five that should be started by the beginning of the season, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's gonna be tricky. I don't know how they're gonna maneuver the roster. Chuma Edoga. He can.
I got 9 offensive linemen.
Yeah. So let's go to Zeke's. Here's his 9. All right. I'm not Zeke. God damn it. Dak attack.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Zeke attack. Zeke.
Guyton, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele. Then you have Awesome Richards, TJ Bass, Brock Hoffman, Chuma Edoga, and Matt Waletzko.
And I put Chuma as the IR because they can carry 2 guys on IR.
Yeah.
So he was my IR, but Matt Waletzko was a guy that I thought that he was going to make this roster.
Designated to return, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I had. Of course, Guyton, the whole base starting lineup: Guyton, Smith, Beebe, Martin, Steele, Richards, Bass, Hoffman, unknown veteran to be added later. I put TBA. They're going to add someone.
I don't think they're going to add another offensive.
I think they will. Because the simple fact that the only reason why is because Chuma Edoga is going to go into IR.
Right.
It's going to open up, their roster gymnastic shit.
It might be that damn guy that rated number 90.
I'm about to say Ball. I think if you do that, Ball is going to be the guy that they do that with.
If anybody.
Yeah.
I feel like they're comfortable with
Josh Ball, I don't know what you got going on, but whoever you got pictures of or anything like that, my brother, I need in on that action.
Yeah, hook a brother up.
Hey, for real,
come
brother.
On, Ball. Come on.
Or what if he actually worked at what he does and got better?
I just don't.
Because
I don't see it, man. Like in comparison to the people around him.
What has he done terribly this preseason? What bad moments has he had?
Are you talking about Josh Ball?
Yes.
Pass block. Have you not seen him pass pro?
He good at run.
He's good at run, but pass pro. Nah, bruh.
Is it questionable though?
The thing is, you're looking at these guys in comparison to what the other people around them are doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not just looking at them like, okay, can he keep a guy in front of him? Like, no, what are the other guys doing? How much space are the other guys create? How well are the other guys keep it? Like, it's just other stuff you're looking at. Josh Ball, to me, bro, I don't know. I think he got some pictures on something.
There's nothing tangible that you can say that he's doing better than TJ, Brock, Cooper.
And that's what I'm saying, man. Like you're not looking at him doing anything that the other guys you can't ask them to do.
Okay.
And I think that there's things. And I think the other guys are doing it more consistently than him.
But is he doing
when he has
anything
his good moments.
poorly?
No, but I think the other guys are having good moments more consistently than Josh Ball.
Here's what you got to do too. I got us going with 9 offensive linemen.
I'm about to say, let's get your list here. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you add an extra offensive lineman, who are you going to take away from the other spots?
Exactly.
Yeah. But that's what all I want to bring.
I think they like the top 9.
Is going to make the roster, but I'm saying like I feel like they would use him before they brought in somebody else.
All right, so here's
right. Yeah, I agree with that. No, I agree with that. We all agree with that. Yeah. I don't think they were bringing a veteran.
So just let's run through laws here real quick. All right, okay. Guyton, Smith, Martin, T.J. Bass, Hoffman, Cooper Beebe, of course, Terrence Steele, Awesome Richards, and Matt Waletzko. Okay. All right, let's get to this defensive side of the ball. All right. Okay. Let's start off with Dak attacks on defense.
This was interesting, but the defense was kind of hard for me. I ain't gonna lie, that one was kind of difficult.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with the defensive line.
That's
all right.
when I gave up.
Defensive line. Dak has 9. Law and myself, we both have 8. Okay.
Okay.
So Dak attack: Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Mozzie Smith, Osa Odigizua, Chauncey Golston, Marshawn Nealon, Jordan Phillips, Carl Lawson, and Tyrus Wheat. Okay?
How about Tyrus? Yeah.
My 8. Micah, D-Law, Mozzie, Osa, Chauncey, Nealon, Phillips, and Lawson. Those are my 8. I think, I don't know, if they do sneak on a 9th defensive lineman, in my opinion, they may give it to Rodgers because he's a draft pick. You know how they are about draft picks.
Right.
And you only have, 3 tackles, defensive tackles? I think if there is a 9th one, there's going to be another defensive tackle.
I do need some depth there.
Okay, let's go to Law's D-line here real quick, all right? Okie dokie, smoky. Sorry, filtering, all right. I think Law, you had the exact same. Parsons, Lawrence, Mozzie, Osa, Chauncey, Nealon, Phillips, and Lawson.
Right.
That was your 8 we have.
Right.
So we basically all have
the same thing. So I just added Tyrus. And the reason I added an extra D lineman is because I feel like positions of uncertainty, they're going to have a little bit more insurance.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I feel like with that D line and how thin it got over there after the Sam Williams injury, I think that they're just going to be wanting bodies at some point because that the D line to me, that's the position on the field that gets switched out the most.
Right.
As far as substitutions and stuff, those guys come out the game the most out of anybody. So you're going to need bodies to throw at that. So I think that that's the reason that I think that Tyrus Wheat or another guy that's like kind of on a bubble, Albert Huggins, whoever it may be, one of those bubble guys is probably going to sneak onto the roster.
And the thing
I don't think Huggins, in my opinion, I don't think Huggins making it from the
I'm a big back. I was just naming another big back. Straight up.
Yeah. But the thing is, that means you went short somewhere else.
Yeah.
And we'll find out.
We're going to see where it's at.
Okay. So let's go to linebackers, okay?
I'm seeing.
It may be this.
You have 5. No, I'm sorry. Law has 5. You have 6.
Okay, you went extra there.
Okay. I had 6 as well too.
Oh wow, I'm going short. I'm going short.
He may be some of his numbers may be include guys that I had like in the parentheses saying the IR. I include 2 guys I thought they were going to carry on IR too.
Oh, speaking of real quick, we'll go back to this real quick. Another IR guy for offensive line, Earl Bostic.
I think he's going to just lose his spot. I don't think he's going to make the team.
He getting
he's
getting thrashed out there. I like that. I like damn Earl.
All right, let's start with Law. Your linebackers, all right. Law has Eric Hendricks, Overshawn, Clark, Leofa, Damian Wilson.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
I think I got the same thing except an extra guy.
You have Dak Attack has those same 5 plus Willie Harvey Jr.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he played himself off the team.
You think so?
Hell yeah.
Harvey Jr.
What?
Shoot.
No,
he put on some decent tape, bro.
It was cons and pros, but he hitting the wrong holes. You know what I'm saying? Like
cons and pros, he hit the wrong hole.
Man, okay,
yeah. Both games too. You know, but that's just what it is.
But I think he's in one of those positions. There are certain guys where you can do some things technically wrong, but it doesn't have a negative impact on the outcome of the play necessarily. But because you did those technical things wrong, you're like, okay, I gotta look at that. But then he makes plays.
He
puts himself in position to actually like make plays though.
Right.
You know, and that, to me, that right there is going to outweigh those small technical issues. Those filling the wrong.
Is he better than Darius Harris?
Oh man.
That's why I picked Damian Wilson over him. I went with these fives: Kendricks over Sean Clark, Leofow, and then I went with Wilson because of the veteran aspect. I would rather have that old broom at this point, versus that new broom.
Okay, here was I had 6 linebackers making it. Okay,
go ahead.
Okay,
my 6 was, of course, we're going to start with Kendricks over Sean Clark, Marisol Leofow, Harvey Jr. I had making the team, and I was split between Damian Wilson and Vigil, I think that's his name.
Nick,
because
I don't think that
because he's a Zimmer guy. He's familiar with Zimmer's defense. He can play all 3 linebacker spots. He probably plays special teams.
Right.
Special teams is going to be the X factor, I think, for some of these guys to make the roster. How well do you play on those special teams? So it's a toss between. I put it on my thing. I put a slash between Wilson or him because.
And to be fair, this game could be a deciding factor. Yeah. So people watching this saying, "Oh man, that Dak Attack wrong or that Law Nation wrong," and Ray don't know what the hell he's talking about. But it's very much so that Harvey going to have to show up really big against the Chargers, and as well as some of those other guys on fringe, right?
Yeah.
No, I agree. I kind of went with the mindset of any position that I felt like the Cowboys looked at last season was like, that really burned us in the behind.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to take extra care and making sure that they have themselves covered there. And I feel like one injury to that linebacker room with just 5 guys, that right there could kind of cause a little bit of uncertainty, especially if it's one of your starters, and then you trying to have them to rotate out. You only got one guy to choose from or 2 guys to choose from.
It's for damn sure better than what we had with LVE,
absolutely,
and Marquise Bell last season. I think from an optics
standpoint, I think optics wise, I think you could remember the Jones, they businessman, bro. From an optics standpoint, it would just look a certain way to go into the season with certain positions light.
You know what I'm saying? I get your rationale on it.
So that's kind of that came into play. But I agree with you saying.
I can't wait to hear your DBs and safeties there.
All right. Okay, we got Law's corners. He's got 6. I think Dak Attack, you only have 5, correct?
So you went short there.
I went short.
He went short on corner. Okay,
because I think that they'll use some safeties, and if they need some coverage use some certain coverage packers more than just a nickel back, I think that's when you'll start seeing guys like Wanye or another guy get on the field.
That's why I was
gonna say technically corners and safeties are DBs. That's all in the same group.
But we broke it up. But we kind of broke it up.
Good to break it up though. But keep going.
So I have 5 corners just because there's one other DB I think has position flex. All right. So let's start with Law's 6. Trayvon Diggs, of course. Deron Bland. Jordan Lewis. Kalen Carson. Eric Scott Jr. and Andrew Booth Jr. I saw you shake your head on that name.
Eric Scott Jr. is the one that's a bubble. I didn't put him on mine.
Okay,
everybody.
I think he's played himself out of a spot. Like you said, Willie Harvey Jr. I think Eric Scott Jr. has had more glaring issues on film than Willie Harvey has.
Okay,
special teams.
My 5. I think both of us. We have the same 5. Trayvon, Deron, J. Lou, Kalen Carson, Andrew Booth Jr.
I think that's the 5 right there.
That's the 5 because they traded
like specifically cornerbacks. I think that's the 5.
Those are 5 corners. Okay, so let's dive into these safeties. Law, you have 5, correct? We all have 5 safeties.
Right.
We all have.
And then I put Eric Scott. If you look on there, I put Bubble. He's a bubble guy. So hell, if he's
my bubble guy too.
It's a swing between him and Keemon.
Keemon Hall.
Yeah.
I liked what I saw from the last game a lot. Okay, so here's my all of us unanimously have the same 5 safeties. All right, so we have to dive in too deep with that. Malik Hooker, Dono, Wanye, Marquise Bell, and Mokwame. We unanimously across the board think all 5 of those safeties are making it. Okay,
and I got Izzy is a bubble guy because of the Woods factor.
Yeah.
You know, Woods showing his tail off.
An injury, that too, and different regime. You know, he's got a different.
And you know, Wanye just got that groin injury, so I wonder if it's an actual groin injury.
That's 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah,
and he would have to go into the season on IR.
Oh, we don't
designated to return. And then you bring in Wood.
Right. But then you looking at another guy that may have been on that designated to return. Like,
how many? What's the rule on that?
2. I think it's 2. You get 2 extra.
So you get a total of 8 in season and 2 more for postseason for your IR that people can come up and down. You can do those moves. I think 8 in the regular season, a total of 10, 2 more for the postseason. So that's activating someone's 20-day window, a 21-day window to return, to go up and down. So 8 in the offseason moves can be made, 2 more in the postseason for designated for returns.
But as far as the 53, how does that, when you going into, because you got to have your 53 solidified going into the regular season.
How does that affect that? I think you have whoever's on IR does not count against your roster. I think as long as you have an intent to have them come back at some point.
Right.
In X amount of weeks. I'm pretty sure that's what I was reading up on that. I just brushed up on that last night.
But if it's a short enough injury, they might not even put him on there though. So,
well, what they can do is some guy they don't want to risk not cutting and someone claiming them off of waivers. They'll put him on IR, then do roster gymnastics and bring him back up.
And it's sad that Wanye got that growing thing because we need him week 1, 2, 3.
No, for real.
Wait, are we talking about Wanye getting cut?
No. We're talking about how his groin injury could impact the roster, like the different roster decisions.
Okay.
If it was a long-term injury, there's Wanye cool.
Wanye
is cool.
Wanye, they cut you, man.
I don't know what's going on.
We fight in the parking lot.
I'm coming to find Willie McClay.
Willie, what's going on? Every time he done got on the field, he been in the right spot making play. Like Wanye, he one.
We're gonna be at the back gate. Hey, say no. We just wait for him to come out.
You waiting for him to come out? Yeah. We just waiting, leaning on his car and everything with the arms folded.
What they say that was it Mo3 song? They afraid to come outside.
Come on.
All right, let's get special teams.
I think I just had 3.
You had 3. Me and Law had 4.
Y'all had CJ Goodwin.
CJ Goodwin, of course. Butter Aubrey, Butter Baby, Anger. Then Sieg,
Trent Sieg,
the long
I had the 2 kickers in Sieg. I didn't.
You need
CJ.
a long snap.
I know, but I'm saying I didn't have CJ Goodwin because I feel like there was such need at other positions that he's someone that to me he's someone you can you can have somebody else do what CJ Goodwin doing, man.
He's the one that you can just call at any time. Be like, hey, we gonna cut you, dog. We gonna put you on the waiver wire.
And we're gonna be right back in Dallas. Don't worry about it.
Gotcha.
They did that last year. They cut all of the quarterbacks. They cut I guess Cooper Rush.
That's right. They did do that.
And then they cut CJ. Yeah, that roster thing. They did it to 53.
So I that's what I'm saying. CJ, I didn't put him on my 53 because I feel like you can save somebody at a different position that you really need and bring CJ back in, or if you need him or whatever. But it's disposable.
That's the spot that I was wanting to see whether or not Turpin, they can slide him in that spot. They can slide for a roster spot. Cropper, Johnson, those guys that was on the fringe, if they make the special teams, Crooms was a guy that was like that. Like if he can make the special teams, but it seems like it's going to be more of the same. Like CJ, that's his spot. Yeah.
Okay, so next preseason game. That's it. That's it for preseason. So this is going to be, as Law like to dub it, the practice squad Super Bowl we got going on for guys fighting for roster spots.
This is some jobs going to be won and lost.
So we got a brand new segment for you. It is called
Ray's Podcast presents In the Eyes of the Law. Law Nation.
Yes.
So Law, from your point of view, tell us players who really need to stand out to try to make a roster spot or practice squad spot on this team.
Well, I'm going to go by this right here. Trey Lance, you're going to have to show us something. You're going to have to show us that you got to bring back what you did last week again. And with the running back room, Deuce Vaughn, in my eyes, he's going to have to prove that he can have another back-to-back good, successful game. And on the wide receiver, you know, you said about Harmon, if he can be a guy that can stand tall in this, maybe, just maybe, they can do some roster gymnastics for him. Willie Harvey Jr., he's another guy that we looking to see if he can absolutely catch the ball this time and have a pick and run it in. Yeah. So in my eyes, I would say that it's necessary for those boys to stand tall for those fringe positions, because there's only one spot left on this team that if you can do something, you can make this claim to be here. Eric Scott. Who else that we need to point out? Julius Woods. Come on, man. You're going to have to show us something again in order to make this team. So in my eyes, especially in the deep safety room against the Chargers, hey, this practice squad Super Bowl, come on, show us something, man. Because this is the time right now that you got a living resume and 31 other teams are looking right in you and at you and saying, what's really you all about? So come on with it, Cowboy Nation.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Let's go.
In you is crazy.
Pause is necessary. Pause is necessary. They're looking right in. Looking at the soul.
Is crazy.
But wait, there's more. We do have another segment. This segment is going to be for some of those horrible sports takes we've been hearing on the internet and on TV. So we're naming this segment. This segment's gonna be called
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
Brother Dak Attack.
Jerry McCoy, look at me. Please, look at me. Because I'm being serious. My brother, we don't need any more former NFL players making a podcast trying to come up with the most clickbait and insane topics you possibly can so you can get attention. Now, I appreciate you and I appreciate your knowledge on the game. But my goodness, the Dak thing, asking this man to take a pay cut and saying that he should take a pay cut when Dak Prescott has not been paid on time, not one time in his career. He has not been paid as a top quarterback, which he is, not one time in his career. Even when he got paid the last time, immediately after other dudes got paid and moving right down that list. At no point, there's no rhyme or reason why Dak Prescott should be the guy to have to take a pay cut.
Rude? He said Dak should take a pay cut?
Yeah.
Who is this man?
Jerry McCoy.
You know who Jerry McCoy is?
I mean, I know.
Okay, I was making
Jerry McCoy and Van Noy, the podcast. Shout out to y'all. You know what I'm saying? I hope much success to all my brothers out there. It's not about that. It's about
based on why should he take a pay cut?
Exactly. You guys have credibility. We're currently fighting an epidemic out here.
All right. So they said that he should take a pay cut due to there's no state income taxes in Texas, and on top of that, we got unbelievable sponsorships.
Okay,
here's the quarterback of America's team.
Here's why I'm so sick of people bringing up the no state income tax in Texas, because when they go somewhere else and play a game, they're subject to those states' taxes.
There you go.
So it's like you still have to account for that in the negotiations. Like, this is the year 2024. I'm pretty sure every agent and every player is aware of how income taxes impact your income. Like, that's already been accounted for. So like, that shouldn't even be presented as part of a take, as though this is some new information.
I just thought that he would know better. Gerald McCoy was our top free agent in a year where we had the most salary cap this team has had.
$90 million.
Come on, man.
My bad.
And he didn't get, and they gave him pennies on the dollar, and he was the top person that we acquired that offseason. And you saw what they did with that money. So what reason is there for Dak, for CD, for Micah, for any of these guys to take any kind of hometown discount?
Right. Can you tell the people who did we went and got when we had $90 million available to spend? McCoy was one of them. That's one answer.
Jerry McCoy.
Okay.
Dontari Poe. George Iluka, whatever his name was.
George Iluka.
And then the rest, I mean, a lot of the guys were just like,
yeah.
It was one more dude with a name.
Walls. I mean, not Everson Walls. Oh, my God.
Everson
Griffin. But edit that part out. My guy, Everson Walls.
These guys got names, but at the point the Cowboys signed them, they were on their last couple years in the league.
Was that Aldon Smith year too?
Alden Smith,
Yeah.
Last couple years in the league. Every person they signed was either on the way out or they had issues.
That's a Dollar Tree shopping they like to do. You
and
know
that's
what I'm saying?
that's with $90 million, and then they franchise tag Dak Prescott
Twice.
Twine for your mind. So no, he shouldn't take a discount.
No.
I feel like with any other owner, they don't ask for players to bail out their owner.
And they can pay all three,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
They can pay all three.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We got these player podcasts, and that was kind of what I was getting into. And these guys are going to have a certain level of credibility with the casual fan, just off rip, because they played in the league.
Yeah.
And this is the type of stuff that we as Cowboys creators have to constantly fight against and try to inform our audience about is the reality of these situations. And when you got players coming out and you're saying stuff like, oh, they can't afford to pay all three, they don't have to choose. That's not true. We went and looked at it. You can look at several teams in the league that are paying way more guys than what the Cowboys are currently paying their guys
Several
right now.
people have already established the fact that it's the structure that's the issue.
49ers,
not
Eagles.
The amount.
Yeah.
That's what they need to decide on.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous, bro. I'm just so tired of the clickbait, the antics, bro. The antics.
It is literally, brother.
Seriously. I'm just tired of it.
We should have started off the conversation with this, man. You were waiting to explode.
Well, pause.
Law, you take call-ins on your show. You take call-ins. So you have to sit here and Law he be professional. He about his business. Law, he's focused. And he's sitting here listening to this foolishness, this gobbledygosh that people be saying and that they regurgitate from every other platform.
Yeah.
And then we have to sit here and listen to this and try to be civil with these folks when we letting them know, like, hey, man, you fucking stupid.
Yeah. You stupid.
Bro, like,
help me.
Help. I'm tired of fighting this battle with y'all, bro. And Gerald McCoy, you better than this. You're better than this. You're better than the topics that you and Kyle Van Noy chose for the first two episodes.
You know the craziest thing, we've been here for about over an hour and we haven't talked about CD Lamb.
That's crazy.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
I was actually going to bring that up as my take that people need to stop with, but go ahead.
Let's go back. Let's flashback. Circa, I don't know what year it was, but Zeke didn't get signed to right before week 1, and it was on a pitch count and played. That's all I'm saying. It's coming. He'll be here soon.
But you know what? Oh boy, I normally don't listen to speak, but Emmanuel Ocho, he had did some homework. And when you do homework, it's hard to fight against the numbers. Yeah. Those who held out have 42% less production that year that they held out or what have you. Dating all the way back to 2018.
Well, if that happens,
I'm not worried about
Prescott
that
MVP season, baby.
All right.
If that happens, that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna see Tolbert have 1,000 yards, Cook's gonna have 1,000, CD gonna come back down to about 1,100.
I'm not worried about that with CD. CD is too integral to the offense, and he's already got too much of an established chemistry with Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
And based off what Steven said, he gonna have the opportunity because he said we're gonna have to pay you like this. We're gonna have to use you like we paying you like that.
And they already using him like they're paying him like that.
And the Cowboys are very crafty. They'll throw a number out there, and they know that the average people will look at it without context and say, $33 million. He turned down that. But they didn't talk about the guarantees or the length of years.
Come on, man.
33 for 10 years.
The structure.
Come on, man.
The structure of it.
Come on.
You know? Woo, this is getting good right
Man,
here.
this
baby.
is
Come on with it.
This is a great crosstalk we had. Y'all brought the energy towards the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So get ready to watch his last preseason game. Then next time we're gonna talk about what these final rosters are gonna look like, and we're gonna catch us. You're gonna see us at the Star. We're gonna be at the Star for these practices in Frisco, the 27, 28.
Where y'all worried meters at for these contracts right now? Both
I ain't worried.
Oh, I got this thing right here. Sense of urgency. These boys move very slow, and yes, all of the other times that they managed to get Zeke done and all of this, but they didn't have a quarterback that they got to pay $250 million on, and they didn't have a wide receiver that you're going to have to pretty much match what Justin Jefferson got.
Yeah.
And they move like mom and pops. They don't work on multiple contracts at a time, so it's one at a time. Now, my only thing would be when they get back to Dallas, maybe they have more time to sit down and slow down and stop putting salt on McGriddles and all of the other stuff that Jerry may be doing. So they'll be able to be focused. Yeah. I think that we got less than 3 weeks, less than 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it done. You don't want to rush contracts either. You don't want to rush them. And you ever sign off on a house that mom about this thick? You got to read through every clause. You got to read through everything.
Well,
Contract same way.
Well, again, thank y'all for tuning in for this next for this crosstalk. Be looking out for the next one. Like I said, if you see us at the start at practices, come say what's up, holler at us. All right, everybody, real quickly. I mean, quickly. Let's state your platform, your Instagrams, all that stuff like that, and we're gonna take this thing on home.
Jazz Monet, find me at blspodcast.com.
The Deck Attack, same thing on all platforms.
Yes, indeed. Law Nation Sports. Look me up anywhere, everywhere. You'll see my face, name, and logo there.
And don't forget, we still them boys. Yeah. We out.
Let's go, baby.
Hey, get money all day, get money all night. Sip my drink, ho, let's get